As a community land trust, we try to do two things. We try to balance the needs of individuals and help people get their first step up on the equity ladder. If you are a lifetime renter, and there are people who will be lifetime renters, and there is nothing wrong with that, and we all started somewhere. As a matter of fact, being a homeowner now, I wish sometime I was still renting, because it's a whole lot easier to be a renter than a homeowner. But people who rent their whole lives tend to spend about 3 times as much on their housing costs as people who own their own home their whole lives. That's a substantial amount of money difference. Plus, they build no equity. They pay more in taxes. There's a society where renters don't pay taxes. Well, yes, you do. When you pay that rent every month, the landlord takes a portion of that rent and pays the taxes with it. It's not coming out of the landlord's pocket, it's coming out of the tenant's pocket. So renters are the ones that we really concentrate on, both in providing secure, safe, affordable housing for the renters, but also helping them transition out of rental and get their foot up on the equity ladder. And that first start on the equity ladder is to get them to hopefully be able to move forward and forward and forward and build more equity for themselves and their children. I'll figure this out. How community land trusts work? The analogy I like to use is the word community land trust is kind of a scary word, like it's something new and something original, and it really isn't. It's been around since English common law. I mean, it goes back to those days. But I think of it more in the model of a condominium, and I think we're all familiar with condominiums. In a condominium, you own your unit. You do not necessarily own the land underneath it. You are glad that you don't, but the association owns that. And there's a document, the HOA documents, which defines the relationship between the association and the homeowner. Well, community land trust is the same way. The resident owns the building. The community, through an organization, usually a community land trust, a nonprofit organization, owns the land. And the 99-year lease is the agreement between them that's equivalent to the homeowner association documents that says what everyone does, what their roles and responsibilities are. So it's very common. I think people are more familiar with the condo model than the community land trust model, and I think we do a disservice to not kind of simplify it, because it really isn't that hard. I mean, it really isn't that difficult.
So we proposed 30 townhomes for the site, and then on the corner of Orange Center Boulevard in Tampa, we proposed a mixed-use development, 3 stories, 20,000 square feet of retail space on the first floor, and then 28 apartment units, 14 on the second and 14 on the third. That would be 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. We also have a resale process. Should someone buy a home and say 10 years from now they decide to sell and go ahead and buy a market rate home, they would let us know that they want to sell. We would work with them to get an appraisal. They can sell to anyone they want to, as long as the people meet the income requirements. And there is a resale formula that basically restricts them to the maximum that they can sell for. And that way, as Anthony was saying before, that way the home stays affordable. If you bought the home and you were able to get both the land as a subsidy and down payment assistance, and maybe you were able to get the home for $100,000 or $120,000. And then 5 years from now, this area has grown to where the average home price is $350,000. If you were able to sell for $350,000, that means that somebody else who needs a home for about $120,000 or $130,000 is not going to be able to afford in the area. So this is why we have a resale formula to restrict to a maximum amount. That being said, the homeowners still have an opportunity to build wealth because they share in the appreciation. They get a percentage of the appreciation, plus they get the value that they've earned from paying down their mortgage. In addition to that, they get the benefit of, instead of renting and then the rent goes up every month, every year or so, whatever their mortgage rate is, it's fixed for 30 years. So that allows them opportunity as well to have some income, additional income that they can use for other things in their life.
Do you trust the city of Orlando?
Not with this project, no.
Why not?
Because as I stated a couple of times, number one, they have been saying since the city council meeting that they had 2 community meetings to explain the land trust. That is absolutely not true. They had 2 meetings, but they weren't on land trust. So now they ask us to come today on the 25th of April to hear what they have to say, for us to digest that, to make a decision. That's not fair, and they have not been honest and upfront with us.
So what could the city do to get you to trust them?
Okay, have another meeting with those of us that are really interested in doing the right thing. We want growth in our area. We like the idea of having homes that are affordable. We know that Orlando is at the bottom of the scale when it comes to affordable housing. So we are interested in that, but we don't want to be taken for granted that this is the way it ought to be. They did not have representation from the community in the selection process. How do they know what we want in our community?
So what should the city do in the future?
The city in the future can contact the community, the different neighborhood associations, and let the people know what's going on. We have a lack of communication.